Well, good early morning. It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. This week, we're looking at God in motion. We've talked about how God rides through the desert. We've talked about how God rides through the heavens. We talked about how God hovered or quivered over the face of the deep, getting ready for creation. And today, we're going to talk about a passage found in Samuel. It's also found in Chronicles, but it's in 2 Samuel 5, verse 24. And here's the backstory. King David, has been taking his army, and he's just whipped the Philistines. But the Philistines have regrouped. And so David's trying to figure out how to go back against the Philistines and how to fight them again. And he inquires of God, and God says, don't just go in there and attack them, but in essence, loop around to the back, and you're going to come up from the back. But here's the key, God said. You don't attack until you hear the sound of marching in the trees. We're not real sure what kind of trees these are. They're called baka trees, which baka means to cry. And some people think thought they were pear trees. I don't see those crying. Some people thought they were mulberry trees. Some people think they're balsam trees, but the balsam tree is really kind of a shrub. That's probably most likely. There was ones that grew up tall, and so they're called balsam trees. But regardless, set that aside. There are a bunch of trees, and God says, David, you're going to attack from the rear, but don't attack until you hear the sound of marching in the top of the trees. And then you'll attack, because you'll know that God has marched out before you. He's gone before you to strike down the Philistines. Now, God on the march. I love this. Of course, the sound of marching in the trees could be the sound. God could use wind, heavens. He could just play it out of a Bluetooth speaker. I don't know. But the idea of the wind being so great, and the wind, of course, always is symbolic of the hand of God in so many ways, because God's spirit means wind, same Hebrew word. So when you hear the sound of marching, you know that God has gone out before you to strike down the Philistines. I love this passage. I love this passage because it tells me something. It tells me lots of stuff. It tells me, first of all, don't go to battle without seeking the Lord. You say, well, I'm not in the military. Maybe you are in the military. Doesn't matter. We fight battles all the time. Remember what Paul said to the Ephesians. The weapons of our warfare are not bodily, carnal. Our shield is a shield of faith. Our sword is the sword of the Spirit. We wear a breastplate of righteousness. We're fighting powers and principalities. We're fighting wars in our head. We're fighting wars with our emotions. We're fighting wars with our ideas. We're fighting wars with our social network. We're fighting wars all over the place. We don't go to war without the Lord. Not only do we not go without the Lord, we don't go without His timing. God tells us when, where, and how to strike. And the key to it all is what God has already put in place. So God's on the march. We need to hear Him. We need to watch for His timing. And we need to follow Him. And there is where the victory lies for whatever you and I confront. So think about your battlefield today. Figure out what you've got in front of you. And as you think about it, pray, Lord, I don't want to go into battle and call on you to save me. I want you to go into battle. I want to follow you into battle. And I want you to do the striking down of the Philistines in my life. And He will honor that prayer. That's the assurance, because God is on the march. And that's your video thought for the day. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Get ready. We've got God on the move in ways we are thankful tomorrow. but this is good for today. God bless you.